Hello guys, I am Praveen. So as you know, DOTS help you to interact with the international students. Not only master students, this time I am with the doctorate students. So we start with a new series, International Doctorate Scholar Interview. I invite to my Soret, who is the doctorate student. She is pursuing her doctorate in MTD, which is the Maison de la Télédétection in Montpellier, France. So, welcome Ali to the DOTS International Doctorate Interview. So, first I would like to ask you about your basic education as well as the school education, and from which city of the France you come from.
First of all, thank you, Sonny, for inviting me to this interview. So, I grew up in the suburb of Paris, in a place called Montmorency, where I went to primary school, middle school, and high school. And I graduated from high school with a scientific baccalaureate. Baccalaureate is the exam all French students pass to at the end of high school.
Okay. So, how was your journey after your masters? How you applied for the PhD and how you successfully get this PhD positions?
So my case is a little particular because first I got in contact with a private company named Teorico.
Okay, that's good.
And I worked with them for 1 year and a half before starting my PhD. And they are actually paying for my PhD and for my research here.
Okay.
So when I graduate from my master degree in image and sound processing for intelligent system, I start looking for job and PhD. That's how I met Teorico and the people in the company. Together we built the PhD research project and we found the academic partner, and after that, a year and a half after I started working with them, I started the PhD here in Montpellier.
Okay, that's good. When you apply for the PhD, it is important to have some research paper during application, or you already have some research internship? It is mandatory for the application in a PhD.
I think none of that is mandatory. My internship when I was in master in M1 and M2 was in research facilities, but it's not mandatory, and I had no research paper or reference letter when I applied for the PhD, and it wasn't a problem.
Okay, yeah, so it's good. So it's a good message for the student who want to apply for the PhD, but they don't have any research paper. You choose France for your PhD, and I come to know that you also have done your semester exchange in other country. Can you please tell me how was your international experience where you have done the semester exchange, and why you choose the France for the PhD? Why not other countries?
So the semester I was doing in Prague was in Erasmus contract.
Okay.
So I was going to classes there. I had to. It was once again a particular case because I wasn't a student of Prague University. I was still a student of my university in Paris.
Okay.
So I had to choose the classes that matches the best the class I was supposed to follow in Paris, and to have a certain amount of credits. And then I went to class and got the credit in Prague, and then I come back. And the second question was about why I choose France.
Okay.
I think for my PhD, I choose Montpellier, France, because that's where my partner, my research, how do you say it? My supervisor are in Montpellier, and that's where I came here.
Okay, that's good. So, what are the basic eligibility for applying the PhD positions, as well as what are the minimum requirement for a person must have while he or she is applying or planning for the PhD?
I think you should have a master degree or an equivalent, because in France you can also go to engineering school, which are 5 years, and with this kind of diploma you can get an equivalent to master.
Okay.
And then you should get the validation of the graduate school and the teacher and all the supervisors that are supposed to work with me PhD.
Okay. So what is the excitement or what is the exciting moment that inspired you to follow this PhD?
It's not really an excitement, it was more of a process, because after my graduation I realized I didn't want to work in a typical computer science field such as human interaction machine, and I really wanted to do something for wildlife preservation and environment. And it was a long reflection process during which I realized that what I wanted to do.
Okay. So as currently you are in Montpellier and doing your PhD in the MTD, Maison de la Télédétection, which is in English we call the House of Remote Sensing. So since it was I think from September you begin, and it's almost I will say 7 to 9 months you have almost completed. So how was your journey about the research? Because it is said the research people are like boring people. I'm sorry to say, but it is said. So what do you like to message give to the people? It is boring, it is interesting. How you answer all this type of the question?
I don't think researchers are boring people. On the contrary, I'm having a great time here. The pandemic and the current situation is not making it easy to meet new people, and even the lab is half empty all of the time, but it's still fun, and I know it's my personal point of view.
Okay, sure. Okay, so as you complete your masters from the Sorbonne University, which is itself a known university in Paris, and why don't you choose to go in some corporate and have some good job where you can earn more money instead of doing the PhD?
It's because I wanted to work in an environmental field, which is not something I can really easily access with my master, since I have no background in biology or genetics or anything like that.
Okay.
So I don't know, actually. It's two different things. Maybe later I will want a more stable job with corporate and
yes, after PhD.
After PhD, but right now it's really important for me to do my own thing and my own research and to choose what I'm working on.
Okay, and as you choose the PhD, I want to know what in which domain you are pursuing your PhD.
So the domain is conservation biology.
Okay, so what excites you to choose this domain?
It's mostly wildlife conservation, like I told you before, and the opportunity I had with the company I'm working with, since it's working in this field.
Okay. It is also different countries have a different provision of doing the PhD. Like in France, it is said where you can, while you are doing your PhD, you will get some stipend. Okay, means salary. The government or the company used to pay you some salary per month, but it's not happen in every country. So, will you like to elaborate what type of the salary they give you while doing the PhD and the minimum duration of the PhD in France?
So the minimum, I don't know about the minimum salary for a PhD which is publicly founded, but when you're doing it with a company, the minimum is like 23,500, I think, a year.
Okay.
So my salary is of 24,000 a year.
Okay.
And once I pay the taxes and everything, every month I get on my bank account a little more than 1,500 euros.
Okay, so it's good. Means when you are doing your PhD in France, definitely you are getting some paid.
Yes, but you have a minimum salary.
Okay.
Which is above 1,000.
Okay, which is above 1,000.
Yes.
So it's good.
But
so
I
at
don't know the
least you will get some. You can do your living expenses that all by your own. That's good. So the second thing I want to ask, what is the minimum duration in which you will complete your PhD?
The minimum what?
Minimum duration, minimum time period it will take to complete your PhD.
I got the money for my thesis for 3 years, so I have 3 years to complete my PhD.
Okay.
And if I can justify it at the end of the 3 years, I can get exceptionally a 4th year, but it's very exceptional.
Okay, so it means that in France you can complete your PhD in just 3 years, instead of doing the 4, 5 or 6 years which happen in other countries. Like especially if you I will talk about the India, a student have to spend more than 3 years. And sometimes it happens 5 or 6 years to complete the PhD. Okay, so I will come with next question. We have talked more about your PhD, so let's have some talk about the France. I want to know about the French food as well as the most good places where people can visit as well as the culture of the France.
I haven't been to all places in France, but I'm from Paris and I really like the city. It's a good city with a lot of stuff. You can see a lot of different neighborhood inside Paris, so it's really nice. And Montpellier is also a good city. You can see nearby in the sun.
As you talk about the Montpellier as well as the Paris, so I want to know which city you like the most, like Montpellier or Paris, and why?
It's two very different cities, and I don't do the same thing when I'm in Paris or when I'm in Montpellier, but I really like both, and I couldn't choose. Now that in Montpellier, I'm going a lot back in Paris for weekend and friends, but if I was in Paris, I will be going out of Paris every weekend, so I cannot really stay in one place. Okay. It's nice in France because you have a really nice transportation.
Okay. So it's good. In Montpellier you don't have a good transportation, but in Paris you have a wonderful transportation. But the good point, you are enjoying both the cities, Montpellier on the weekdays and Paris on weekends. It's good side for you. That's awesome. So just tell me about the food and culture of the France. What do you like the most?
French culture is definitely based on revolve around food and wine. I think what I like the most is there is a particular wine going with every particular meal you can have, and once you start getting interested in it, you really get that there is a lot of things.
Okay. So being a PhD student, you still don't forget to the parties on the weekends?
Right now it's kind of complicated because of the pandemic and all that, but usually it's a lot more fun. I think.
It's a lot of fun when there is no confinement.
Yes. You still have a lot of work to do, and sometimes during weekends, but usually you can chill out with your friends on the weekend.
A lot of people, I will say that most of the students are planning to come the next year, the almost 2021 intake in September. And they want to know about the confinement situation in France especially. So what is your view how the things are happening in France just because of the COVID, or you can say confinement, and how the things are going to solve in future?
So basically since 1 year all bars and restaurants are closed, so it's really hard to go out with friends for having lunch or beer, and I think starting this summer the situation will get better because we have vaccination coming and everything, but it's hard to say because I think even the French government cannot tell you when this whole situation is going to stop, so I don't want to forehead anything.
How much the life is affected by this confinement here, especially in Montpellier and Paris?
Oh, it's affected a lot. Like you don't have the freedom to go where you want anymore. You always have to be thinking about if you're allowed to go. You cannot meet more than 6 persons outside. And if you want to go away from your region, you have to have a specific attestation to specify that you have a good reason to go out. And all of this stuff have been really heavy to carry on, but I think it's not going to last long.
Okay, so as we in India, I will say when you are doing your schoolings as well as when you are doing your masters or sometime in doctorate also, parents used to support the students like giving his expenses as well as giving his tuition fees. And what the system or the culture in here in France, how do parents help to the student, or just they teach them that they have to do the things by their own after the school?
It really depends on your parents. I was lucky enough to have my parents supporting me through bachelor and master. They were living close to Paris, so I was still living with them while doing the bachelor and master. But if you cannot have this chance, Many students find jobs to work part-time during their study, and I think there is also some kind of governmental help and solidarity fund dedicated to the student life to help the French student and international student go through the master or the show.
Okay, so one more question I want to ask about when you are a master students. Okay, when government provide a lot of benefit like some discounts for your transportation, or they also help you while living your apartment. They reimburse some money. What are these benefits? Can you little bit elaborate?
So basically, you have, as you said, apartment facilities. You also have a canteen, which is very cheap. You can have discount on transportation, and when the theater was still open, on divertissements such as theater, spectacle scene, and everything.
Okay, so there is a lot of benefit for the student that is given by the government, so that the student can make a.
The government and also some private companies that are giving discount. On the basis of your student cards.
Okay, that's good. And the wonderful thing is you over here in France you can work and study, which is made the alternance, right? What do you call the when we work as well as we study? Alternance?
Yes, the alternance.
Alternance.
Yes, it's a specific thing. Maybe you should ask Kamel because Kamel is actually doing an alternance. But basically, your school is paying for your company is paying for your diploma. And there is a part when you're working part-time in the company and studying the rest of the week, and then you go full-time to the company for the last part of the year. So it's really good because you have a...
Okay, what is the best thing and the best place you like about the France?
I have nothing that comes to mind. I think the place I like the most is next to Paris, where I live with my parents, where my parents live. And the place I like the less, I couldn't really say. I'm sure I have bad experience in France, but...
Okay, my last couple of questions to you. So basically I would like to talk about the education system. How you find the French education system is different from other countries, especially you studied in the Prague.
Especially the?
Especially you studied in the Prague.
Okay. I don't really know a lot about... are we talking on the university, right?
Yeah, universities.
So in Prague, I found that students have a lot of more freedom because they can choose really whatever classes you want. In France, in university, most of the time you have a few mandatory classes, and then you can choose optional courses to complete your credit. Most of the campus university are closed compared in Prague, where everything is open and you can just enter the building in the city. In France, you always have like wall or some kind of separation between the university and the rest of the cities. Once again, I don't know because in Prague I was with Erasmus class, so it was English speaking. It was English lesson. So I wasn't really with the basic Czech student because they were following the classes in Czech. But one difference is that in France you have to know French to get to the lesson because there is very few classes that are in English.
So basically the French education system is more focused on the practicals, use cases as well as the projects.
I wouldn't say that because in France you have like very lot of choice. You can go to university when it's very similar to the university in other country. You have engineering or commerce school. Okay,
it depends on the course you have opted.
Yes, you have a large panel in France of educational opportunities once you graduate from high school, and I wouldn't say there is one which is. I wouldn't say France in general is more practical than. It really depends on what you choose. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So my last question to you. So basically we come to the end of the interview.
Okay.
So my last question is about just suppose if we complete the masters or the doctorate, how it is easy to find the job in France, as well as how we can find the opportunity to the different countries of the world like US, Germany or the Australia, how it is easy to find the job in other countries as well as within the France.
The research you make is on the internet. Like you have for France, either you go on the website company and you go to the career section and then apply to the position that interests you. And I think it's the same thing if you want to apply to any post international. It could be easy. It really depends on what you have on your. I think like everyone, it really depends on your CV and if you went to famous places for studying.
Okay.
And if you have good experience also.
Okay, that's good. So thank you so much, Mari, for your time, and it's a great pleasure me to ask you a good question, and thanks for your wonderful answers. Hope our people will see and they will get a lot of help about the France, as well as they will have a good exploration about the France. So once again, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Okay guys, so she was Mari Soret, who is doing the PhD in MTD, and next time hopefully I will find some other students to whom I can ask a wonderful questions about the France. So once again, have a good day, have a wonderful life, be safe, be happy. Thank you.